Welcome to Beyond the Broadsheet, a podcast by the Lincoln County News. We are a community newspaper based in Midcoast, Maine, and we provide the most comprehensive, in-depth coverage available anywhere of the 18 towns and one plantation that make up Lincoln County. My name is Piper Pavelich, and I'm a reporter here at the Lincoln County News.
And my name is Maia Zewert, and I'm the editor of the Lincoln County News. Yes, I haven't been like the co-host before. Yeah. This is weird.
Don't worry, for all of you wondering where Molly is, she's just taking a day off.
Which deserved. I'm working on the month ahead email that I send out to editorial and then interested parties within the building. And I'm like, guys, we got graduations and we got annual town meetings. Woo. Prepare for the next 3 weeks to be a dead sprint.
Yeah.
Yes. So today we'll hear some of the top stories from the May 29 edition. Then we're going to be saying goodbye to someone.
Who is it? I don't know.
We'll find out. But if you have a guess, now's the time to guess.
Place your bets on which one of us is leaving.
But first,
here's the news. So as we all know, it was Memorial Day on Monday, May 26th. So we had people at several ceremonies and parades throughout the county, specifically in Damascotta and Waldoboro and Edgecombe. I hear it was pretty good turnout.
That's what my understanding is, too. And Molly went to... I don't think we've covered the Edgecombe one before.
Really?
Or at least in recent memory.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of any. And so from her photos, from her coverage, it looked like it was a lovely service.
That it did. And if I recall correctly, it was a pretty nice day for it.
Oh, yeah. So. Like one of the very few nice days we've had in May.
So that's good. And as we all know, it continues to be budget and town meeting season.
Oh, so much. So much.
We had one of our interns at a special town meeting.
Well, let's talk about last Wednesday, first of all.
Oh, okay.
Because we had RSU 12, RSU 2, and Jefferson all voting on
the same night, same time.
All voting on their education budgets.
Yep.
And then we also had a special town meeting for South Bristol the very next day about this. And those 4 items right there, that's half of the front page. Then we had the photo contest winner, and then we had the characters. So, we knew what...
Ta-da!
We knew what 3/4 of the front page would be by Thursday.
There you go. And that's how you put together a front page.
Yes. Yes. The other two came together lovely.
But yeah, the South Bristol town meeting that our intern Nora went to, they approved $114,000 for a water filtration system at the school. Mm-hmm. That's been an ongoing conversation, right?
It's been a rolling thing for, I know Jonathan Riley covered it when the well, initially the old well, they now have a new well. The old well had tested positive for PFAS, and there was a period of time where the kids had water bottles at school as opposed to using school water.
Yeah.
But this just seems like it was we have a new well. Let's get a filtration system in there. Very proactive. We love it.
Yeah.
30 voters, 6 minutes, $114,000 spent.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
But you know what? It goes on the front page because this has been one of those ongoing stories.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're just going to close the loop. Oh, looking at the new well was drilled in August 2024.
Okay.
So a little less than a year ago.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And like Maya just said, Jefferson's education budget was approved. About 50 people turned out for that meeting, I think Molly said, and the budget is $9.76 million, which is about an increase of $1.18 million or 13.85%.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that increase is not abnormal.
No.
Lately among the world of education budgets.
I mean, in some cases, that might be modest.
I know.
But with some of these, I know in talking to some school officials and administration, a lot of what's hammering the budget is the insurance costs.
Yep.
And so yeah, it's like that's not something the school committees can control. That's not something school admin can control.
That's
that's
just something we wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was, I'm sure we'll talk about RSU 12's budget later on, but that was one of the things that Superintendent Tuttle said that really struck me was like, we only have like movable control over this tiny portion of the budget. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate how he always puts that into perspective with the RSU 12 budget, the things you can control and the things you can't control.
Right on. Yes.
But yeah, and then RSU 2.
RSU 2.
I finally got to go to a budget meeting. I didn't get to go last year.
This is true.
So that was exciting. I had never been to Farmingdale before.
Well, and apparently a bunch of people decided
Over
they were going.
100 people. Can you even believe it?
Bonkers to
From
me.
4 towns, Dresden, Farmingdale, Hollowell, and Monmouth. They make up RSU 2.
See, like, I've been to education budget votes where there's been the school committee and, like, the ballot clerk or town clerk and then, like, me.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's a good thing the town clerk lives in this town. That has changed over recent years, but I have never in my life seen 100 people at just like a flat education vote.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah.
More people just kept coming in and lining up to, you know, get their stuff. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
The line is never ending. Anyway, the point is,
yes,
all those people approved a $31.5 million budget for RSU 2, which is an increase of about $1.55 million or 5%. And the RSU 2 superintendent,
there we go,
Rick Amaro, said it was the biggest crowd he'd seen in the district for a budget meeting.
I believe it. It's the biggest one I recall seeing in 10 years.
Mm-hmm. So for our Dresden voters, the town's contribution to the budget is $2,385,003.31.
That $3.31 though.
Yep.
Nice.
An increase of $15,848.58 or 0.67% over last year.
Yeah.
That is probably the smallest increase we'll see for a town in an education budget.
For how much it's being impacted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But that wasn't the only news out of RSU 2. There was also some big doings.
Some little fun something. The RSU 2 food service program received the Small and Rural School Food Authority's Lunch Trailblazer Recognition Award.
Excellent title. Excellent.
From the USDA's Food and Nutrition Service and Illinois-based nonprofit Action for Healthy Kids. So the award acknowledges the district's commitment to incorporating fresh fruits, veggies, whole grains into their daily menus, and their partnership with local farms to make sure they're providing locally sourced ingredients for their students' meals. It's lovely.
Yeah.
So I was excited to see that. I was like, heck yeah, go RSU 2.
Doing good things.
Yeah.
Speaking of things doing good things, it sounds like Newcastle's gotten some good stuff going on there as well.
Yep. So Newcastle's town manager, Kevin Sutherland, announced on May 27th that the town is receiving a Community Resilience Partnership Community Action Grant. Again, another mouthful.
Community twice in the title.
Yep.
Love it.
Totaling $68,500. So a pretty penny.
Yes.
So the Community Resilience Partnership is administered by the Governor's Office of Policy, Innovation, and the Future, and it offers communities support for climate mitigation and adaptation activities. And so the money specifically for Newcastle is going to fund a battery backup system for the solar panels that are going to be on the fire station's roof. And so they can have power in the fire station, even in the case of widespread power outage.
Nice.
And they're going to be developing a battery lending program so residents can come, grab a battery, take it back to their house, and keep things they need running.
Now, I have to assume this isn't like a AA battery. I
wouldn't think so.
Yeah, this is like if you need to keep your fridge running.
Yes, exactly. So,
yeah.
I know they've been working on that for a little while, so I'm glad that they they got to see that through and get that money.
Well, congrats to Newcastle.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of bummed in that she's not here with us because like Molly did some great work this week.
She did.
Very proud of her for taking time off because it's deserved. She had 3 articles in the edition that we're not going to be able to dig like super deep into just because of like her familiarity with it outpaces ours. But she did a lovely feature on Head Start programs in the area. And just, Head Start, for those who don't know, is a multifaceted preschool providing a lot of different support to low-income families. Kind of with the federal funding question marks. It's the navigation of that has been a little interesting. But Molly has talked to some people over at Mid-Coast Maine Community Action, which is based in Bath. They are the local agency that runs the Head Starts in Lincoln County, which serve about 90 kids. So it's a good comprehensive look at here's what the program is, here's what it does, here's where they are right now with what's going on. And that was on the front page.
Yeah, she worked so hard on that.
She did, and the photos are adorable.
They are.
Like, Molly is a wonderful soul of a human being, and so like the kids turned it on for her.
Yeah, they did.
Like the facial expressions, like it was a joy going through those photos. She also wrote about some stuff that's been coming up with the Lincoln County Commissioners. First and foremost, over the past couple meetings, some residents and within the county have been going to the commissioners' meetings to ask for more information about just how things are going in relation to the rest of the world. And Sheriff Todd Brackett informed them that the LCSO would not be taking a stance on administrative warrants from ICE, and administrative warrants being of civil in nature as opposed to judicial warrants, which are criminal. So that's another thing that we'll be keeping a close eye on. I'm sure that'll come up again in future weeks, but Molly did a great job writing about that. And she also spoke to the Colonel James Bailey over at Two Bridges, similar sort of thing. So
yeah.
Molly just
she really got into it this week.
Yeah. And she also talked to Carrie Kipfer, the county administrator, about ongoing conversations within prosecutorial District 6, of which Lincoln County is a part, about possibly coming together with some sort of jail reorganization, regionalization type thing.
Yeah.
So they're having conversations. There's nothing like new to report yet, but conversations are taking place.
And of course, we'll let you know if something does happen.
Yes. Lincoln, Knox, and Waldo have united to contract with a consultant. So it sounds like there will be some recommendations made or not made in the fall. We'll be keeping a close eye on it.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
We also had some Damascotta Fire Department news this week.
Yes, a whole lot of it, which is fantastic. So on the night of the multiple education budget meetings, we sent Nora Conlin, our lovely summer intern, over to the Damascotta Select Board meeting, which was taking place at the fire department, so that Fire Chief John Roberts, who also happens to be the Lincoln County News publisher, could give a presentation on the ladder truck that the department is hoping to buy to replace their current ladder truck, which was purchased in 2006 and is ready for retirement. And the reason this is kind of a big thing is the estimated cost is set to be between 1.7 and 1.9 million. So what's going before the voters at the annual town meeting is a warrant article asking for authorization to take out a bond to start the process of paying for that, which essentially gives permission to like pursue the fire truck.
Yeah.
So We'll see how that goes. That meeting is on Wednesday, June 11. Part of Damerska's annual town meeting takes place via referendum at the polls on the 10th, and then the rest is on the 11th.
Yep.
So we'll see. And then the other thing the fire department did was a full-scale fire drill at Great Salt Bay Community School with simulated smoke.
This made me laugh a little bit when I heard about this. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody using simulated smoke, and it's awesome. John showed us pictures, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was a good time. They've never done a full-scale drill like this, and John said he was very impressed with how the faculty handled it. Getting everyone evacuated and all the things they had to do. So overall, it sounds like it was a success.
Absolutely.
Some excitement at the end of the school year for the kids.
Yeah. Yeah, that must have been fun for them.
And then you did a little bit of follow-up on some crime.
Yep, some crime. So a man from China, Maine, who is part of a group that was charged earlier in May, was given additional charges related to cable theft in the area. I don't know if you guys recall this, but Steve French, 54 years old, was charged in relation to alleged theft of communications cable on Gardner Road in Jefferson. So he is part of a group of 3 that was initially arrested at the scene of another alleged cable theft in Whitefield on May 9th. And Lincoln County Sheriff's Office said at the time that they thought the group was connected to a string of similar thefts throughout the area. So I'm sure their investigation is ongoing, and we'll hear more soon.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to actually have 2 people in here with us.
Party!
Spoiler alert, one of which is Molly Raines, because we recorded that part earlier before she left.
Yeah.
And the other is a very special guest here to talk about a departure.
If you haven't placed your bets yet, now's the time.
Yeah, we'll be right back. So, Piper, who is leaving?
I don't know. Who?
I thought it was you.
It's me? Oh, shoot.
It's you.
I didn't know.
Well, it was your decision.
That's
it wasn't
crazy.
mine.
That is true. It was my decision.
So this is your goodbye episode.
Cue the waterworks.
Oh, you say that as if we haven't both been dropped to tears multiple times. But
true.
This is a celebration because it is a good thing for all the reasons you're going to mention. And because of that, we have some guests.
We do.
We have the lovely, as always, Molly Raines.
Hello.
You all can't see her, but she's wearing a fantastic dress.
Wow.
She dyed herself,
It's
which
amazing.
is just
Wow, the
blew us both
listeners
away.
get to know.
Yes. Well, that
Amazing.
you're wildly talented. Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
But I'm also wildly sad today.
Yes. But
Yeah. For those who don't know, Piper's my roommate, so I'm losing not only a coworker and an office mate, but also my bedroom neighbor.
Yeah, you don't know, but I can hear Hedgie snoring at night.
Yeah.
are you 100% sure it's Hedgie?
Yes.
Excellent.
I've tested this theory because I can tell when Molly's awake because I can hear her walking around. So then I listen and I'm like, okay, Molly's over there. Do I still hear the snoring?
Yeah, I don't snore like this dog.
No,
Yeah.
she does have a particular sound to her, but those aren't
I'm sorry,
the
guys.
only guests we have as Piper adjusts
I'm messing with
her
the mic. I'm sorry.
microphone. We also are welcoming back the one, not the only, but
Not the only.
the one, Jonathan Riley.
I'm so sad. I'm just here to join in the sorrow, but also the
You
celebration.
requested to be here.
Oh my goodness, what? That's crazy.
I don't know why.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you
That doesn't sound like me.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you back. This is your first time back since your goodbye podcast, I think.
I believe so, unless
Probably.
we recorded. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is the. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my brief return, just to be, sort of fill out the intricate mosaic of your experience here. I feel like a small piece and witness to it. So when you told me that you were moving on from the Lincoln County News, I was like, put me on the mic.
No, seriously, it's one of the first things he said. He was like, I want to be there for your exit podcast.
I was like, put me on record. I want to let them know.
All right, here you are. You're on record.
I got things to say.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
I've got things to say.
Yikes.
So do we want to start out by you talking a little bit about what you're doing? So we can preface this with, this is a very good thing. We're very excited. When you told me, I think first of all, I was like, Piper, it's okay. You don't need to cry. It's all right.
I was feeling emotions.
You were. And as was I. And then, I like to think one of the first things I said was how happy I was for you. Because I am.
You were like, I was crying and you were like, this is a good thing.
Yes. I was like, this is what you wanted to do, and we're very excited about this. Yeah. It's very good personally and professionally.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, I won't make you wait any longer. I'm not going to name drop the news organization that I'm going to go work for just because, we're still figuring that out. But I am going to go be the first full-time community reporter for a nonprofit news organization down in Massachusetts. And I am finally going to be moving in with my long-term partner.
Yeah.
So...
Yay!
Cue the applause. Thank you.
Very big deal.
Yeah, we've been together almost 7 years.
They met in high school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And you guys have been long distance for
pretty much
the
majority of it. We had a few good college years.
So sad.
Okay, Grandma.
We had a few good years, but those days are behind me.
But not for much longer.
So, and I intend for this to be it. I'm done with the long distance. I don't want to do it anymore.
Michael, are you listening?
Are you hearing this?
Well, what's interesting is that Michael also works in an
the town
adjacent
that I'm
role.
going to work for. Yeah. So we'll be attending some of the same meetings and such, which is funny.
Dynamic duo, power couple.
Yes. You can carpool.
It's so funny because when I mentioned this to him, I was like, oh, we're probably going to be ending up at some of the same meetings. He was like, oh my God, we get to hang out. And I was like, we're going to work. Also, we'll live together. It was funny. I appreciated the excitement.
To be fair, you and Molly also live together and work together.
Yeah, facts. I'm being replaced.
True.
Yes.
No. Oh my goodness. Oh. None of you could ever be replaced.
Aw.
Yeah. Aww. So when this episode comes out on Monday, June 2nd, which is the day before
my last day. Yep.
Yeah.
Tuesday, June 3rd.
Because
I had a week-long vacation. Yeah, I had a week-long vacation scheduled already from the 4th to the 10th, so it didn't make much sense to...
You gave your 2 weeks and you're like, and I'm taking the second week off.
I felt bad about it, but we talked about it, and I was like, I feel like this makes no sense.
It does. It does. And you're going out with the bang because you're writing for annual town meeting previews. You're writing 9 candidates pieces.
Yep.
Like,
as per usual.
Yes. Killing it. Killing it.
Jonathan's face right now is hilarious.
I'm feeling so triggered right now.
He's like, oh God, an annual town meeting.
And for the listeners, I haven't completely disappeared from the paper. I was going to say. I've been contributing like every other week, like a character piece or just an offshoot of things. So I am still involved, but have not been back in the building really. And so hearing the 9 I'm like, oh my gosh, it's that time of year. Because this is the time of year that I would have started. So I would have, those are some of my first articles that didn't really but you showed up at a different time of year. You showed up.
I showed up in October, a week after Molly.
She got they both got a soft on ramp. Like it wasn't town meeting budget season.
I came in right after Pumpkin Fest.
What do you remember about the early days of your time at LCN?
I was so nervous. In the old days.
Oh, in oldie days? Yeah.
Back in the day.
Of October 2023. Yeah.
What a time.
Well, I want to say what I observed.
Oh my gosh.
leading question.
Yes. Do it, Molly.
Now that I think of it, I have something to contribute.
No!
I was sitting at my desk. I'd been here about a week. Jonathan was at his desk, and Elizabeth Walsh-Toney, reporter emeritus, was also present. And Piper came in, and she was like very put together, and she just like came in, was like, "Hello, I'm Piper. I'm the new reporter," and like had a little meeting with you, and then sat down and beetled away at her work and was just like very serious and
I was so
professional. Well, that wasn't the energy that you were putting off, though. I was like, who is this girl? Like, recent journalism school graduate. She knows everything, and she's so serious and intimidating.
I so do not know everything.
And terrifying. But then turns out she's a cinnamon roll. So,
yes.
But
I've
also
never been described as a cinnamon roll. That's
Looks
hilarious.
like could kill you is a cinnamon roll.
Yeah. And very capable
Really?
journalist.
I strive for that.
Okay,
Thank you.
listen. I've said this, I believe. No, we've talked about this where like I remember you came into our job interview and it was with me and John Roberts, the publisher, and like just came in with this like full confidence of like almost like, you know, if this doesn't work out, it's fine. I'll find something else. Like, it was almost as if, like, we needed you more than you needed us. That was what you were giving off. It was awesome.
At my 1 year review, you told me it was fake it till you make it confidence.
Which I realized later on. Like, it was only after, like, you came in rock star, and it was a little while in, I was like, oh, she's very much like me. She's like, I am going to project that I have it together and that I'm fully confident, even though on the inside I'm like, what am I doing?
Oh my God, that's so true.
Yeah.
You might be anxious, but you do have it together. So I think that's important to note is that like Piper very much has always not had to fake it because she's been very like on top of everything from the beginning. But of course, like all human beings, we're all nervous, and especially starting a new job right out of college.
I was gonna say, I've joked that this is my first big girl job, but like this is my first actual job.
Yes.
So I had just graduated college a couple months earlier with a degree in journalism, and I was like, oh my God. And the job market is difficult. So I was like, what do I do? Who's going to take me? I got to go somewhere and write stuff, please.
And we took you.
Thank you.
And you came in and rocked it. Like Molly said, like that first day you came in, checked in with me, and then I think I went out to like give you something like 5-10 minutes later. Probably the style guide.
Probably, yeah.
That's the thing I perpetually forget to give out. And you were already like, oh, I've called this person. I'm looking up this. And I'm like, this person's going to run circles around me. Okay, let's go. Yeah. Which, to be fair, is how I felt about each of you as you've come on, because you've each brought something different to the reporting gig. And for you, I would say you came in and, like we mentioned, you came in October outside of town meeting season. Your first town meeting season, watching you write budget articles, it was like a duck taking to water. Like, you were just such a natural at it. So
I don't know why, because I really don't like math.
Nobody goes into journalism because they like math.
I'm like, I'm a journalism major, guys.
Why? Because usually I think about like the best way to approach a really complicated topic for when you're writing for a lay audience is to not understand it yourself, because then you know what the audience needs to hear.
Yeah.
That, and budget articles are, in my mind, less about the math as it is about being comprehensive, and it's more formulaic and it's very consistent.
Yeah.
So if you like figure out that the numbers, as long as you do because the math is pretty simple. We're not like really doing a ton of nitty gritty stuff, but then it becomes like a tool for you to describe different parts of the budget. It's the same formula. It's like, well, actually, this increase over here ends up being so. It I think that your ability to excel at those articles is less of a testament to your like fluency in mathematics and more so about but just in your it's indicative of your comprehensive style and your ability to be very thorough, and like we're talking about, you've always been very thorough.
Yes.
And which kind of I have a question about, you came in to this job with a degree, a journalism degree, and how did that set you up for this job? And then like, tell me a little bit about the differences in the education between this and that.
That's an interesting question.
It is.
Oh my gosh. I feel like, school can only prepare you for so much. You have to go and actually do it.
You got to do a budget article with a real town.
No, seriously, I never budget articles weren't a thing that we talked about in school, or like how to communicate with town officials, or, the rules and procedures of municipal meetings. Like that, you don't get taught that stuff in school. You get taught how to write a good lead. Who, what, when, where, why.
How, if applicable.
Yeah. And you get taught all of these, basic foundational things, but it's the other things that you have to actually go out and learn. So, I could I knew all the foundational stuff, but then I also felt like when I got here, I felt like I also didn't know all the foundational stuff, because you hit me with the style book and I was like, whoa.
To be fair, we do use the Oxford comma, which I was like, not many papers.
Yeah,
do.
they taught me not to use the Oxford comma. I was like, what do I do? But this job, I feel like I learned so much more than I ever did in my 4 years of going to school. And that's not to say that school didn't prepare me for this. It's just, it's different, so. I'm sorry. I don't know if that answers your question. Totally I ask questions. I don't answer questions.
Tough.
Not so today.
I'm going to ask Jonathan a question about you, because we talked about this a little bit in your goodbye podcast episode, that, you and Piper, I believe it was like your third day on the job, had made a nice little road trip together to the Maine Press Association conference. What was your first impression of Piper?
I was stoked to be in proximity of somebody who wasn't my editor, but was going to be a coworker of mine that had that foundational knowledge that you're talking about, that you got in college about journalism, because that was something that I didn't come into the job with. And I've always felt like I was on quicksand. I didn't really know what, so whereas you read the style guide and you're like, oh, this is different than what we did in school, but you were like, I know how to write a lead. And I was like, a lead? I was like, what's a lead?
What's that?
It's like that meme. It's like, you guys getting paid? You're like, oh, this compares really beautifully to what I learned in school. I'm like, to where? To what? You're asking questions? I've just been talking at people. So that first car ride was really wonderful, because I was already, and it's a similar feeling with you, Molly, just both of you. I was just so stoked to have people to help me get some perspective on what being a journalist was like. And just a lot of great art, tricks you with it's a story about a dog, but it's really about a story about love. And that's what it has felt like, getting to know both of you. And Piper, in that car ride, it wasn't just two coworkers getting to know each other. I felt like I was getting to know a little bit more about life. So I appreciate that genesis, because it was really cool, because as we said before, and we've said too, Maya, that I don't idle in conversation very well. I like to talk about what's going on with you and what's happening. So we had a nice hour-long conversation.
There was a silence. He's like, so you got any siblings?
Yeah. I was like, yeah. What's your relationship like with Maine? And
Jonathan Riley does not small talk. It's
I love
deep
that.
dive from the beginning, and that's one of my favorite things about you as well. So
yeah.
Well, it was really cool to start our relationship off like that, with some quality time in the car, going to Maine Press Association, which I think at that one, neither of us had been to one. So we were just going.
And we weren't up for anything. Yeah.
Learning and meeting people.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic.
But
all the hotel rooms were under my name.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Wow.
Did it happen again this year too?
Great memory.
Did it? I don't know. I don't think so.
This past year.
We were ready. We were like,
yeah,
we're
ready.
Piper.
Yes. That was But didn't John take us out for lunch as well? So we also got that
B-dubs, the Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
I wish you guys like offered like to like get a drink, and I was like, I didn't like get a drink. I was like really nervous still. Just like I didn't know what to expect, or it was but it was fun. I remember John too during that asking us like, what is your vision of like the Lincoln County News future? And I was like, man, I'm just trying to eat my wings.
I was like, oh my God, I've been here 2 days.
I was like, I like the deep dive question, but like I want some more garlic parmesan.
John Roberts, another man who does not do small talk. It's like, let's talk philosophical questions.
I dig it.
So, how long had you both been working here, Molly and Piper, when you decided to work together? Because I remember
to live
together. Yeah.
About 9 months, because that's how long my initial lease was.
Yep.
And then I was looking for housing.
It was last summer, like a little bit prior to last summer. Molly was looking for housing. I was like, I should live closer.
Because at the time...
Can you even believe it? I started this job living in Rockland.
I can't. I was
living with my sister in Rockland. Isn't that wild?
And she would do on-call weekends. And then
I would do on-call weekends from Rockland.
From Rockland to go to like a car crash or something.
And I covered Dresden.
Yeah. That is not a short commute.
She was committed.
She was.
Yeah.
And then this time last year, we signed the lease that we are now still on together for the next few weeks. And then Piper moved in, I think, in July. So, coming up on a year of living together and working together.
Which is, like, I remember when you both told me you were going to live together, and I had the moment of, like, oh, this could be really good, or it could be really, really bad. Yeah. And, like, I think 2 months in, I was talking to both of you, like, separately or something, and you were both like, oh my God, Molly is the perfect roommate. I love living with Piper. Like, just immediately, like, gushing about how much fun it was. And I was like, oh my, the right two people are living together.
It all really fell into place. It was,
Yes.
It was wonderful.
It's true that, like, the conventional wisdom is that you should not live with your coworkers. And I would say probably most people should not.
Yeah.
But most people are not.
We're not most people.
So,
This is true. This is true.
We're very lucky that it's worked out. But if anybody has to replace me, like, it can be Michael.
Yes. This is true. I do love that someone you knew for 9 months got to live with you
before my boyfriend.
Yeah, totally.
That's hilarious.
Take that, Michael. We are rivals. So
Yeah.
But Piper keeps talking about how she's going to, like, decorate his apartment because he's been living alone. And
I'm going to make this house a home.
Yeah, you are.
I'm going to IKEA.
Yes.
Step one in making a house a home. Step in the mass.
I'm going to go to IKEA. I'm going to eat a hot dog, and then I'm going to get to work.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm jealous of Michael again. I want to go to IKEA with you.
I'm sure you can go to IKEA without living with Piper.
It's a lot more difficult.
It's true. It's true.
Bring up all the emotions.
Speaking of emotions, Piper, do you have any highlights from your time here?
Oh, this is so hard. I didn't prepare for this. This is so bad. It's really hard because this entire thing, like, I feel like I've lived 5 different lives throughout the year and a half I've been here. And I think it might sound a little cliche, but I think the highlight has been all of you.
Oh no, I'm gonna cry.
I see why you wanted to guess.
Yeah. Just wanted to feel some emotion.
I don't think I've ever had relationships like the relationships I have with each of you and us as a collective, including Hedgehog, whom you might hear breathing on the mic. But no, going back to when I was applying for this job and then interviewing and then starting this, I don't know what I expected, but the life that I've lived over the last year and a half is better than I could have imagined it to be. So I would say the highlight's been all of you.
Oh.
I'm not going to cry. She made me cry yesterday. It's fine. It's good.
I made her cry yesterday because I was like, the only reason I feel so qualified and ready to go on to my next job is because of everything she's taught me.
Like what?
How to do this whole job.
Like
we
need people don't know. People don't know that we're in a crazy building right now with lots of crazy rules.
We are in a crazy building right now.
The Oxford comma.
Okay.
No, but like, you know, no.
Molly's
I'm
like,
kidding.
absolutely
not. I'm kidding. But I mean, you know, all the things that I didn't learn in school that I learned here, how to cover budget meetings, how to talk to town officials, how to, right? So people feel, you know, like they're there. How to inform people of really difficult things that they may not understand, and I have to try to make it understandable.
Yeah.
Like, if you talked to me a year ago and were like, you know, telling me I had to cover a fire truck purchase like the one Debrascata voters are going to consider soon, I would have been like, I don't know how to do that to make people, like, get it.
Right.
So it's it's too many things for me to even think about, but just everything. Because I'm basically doing this same job, just in a different place.
Mm-hmm. And this job is like figuring out what's happening and what, through the lens of your paper, needs to be told, which is a huge task.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like steps along that process.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Yeah.
Like identifying stories and telling.
And also, I didn't know how to prioritize, like, in terms of what people are going to care about and what they need to know about. And I didn't know how important a lot of things are. Like, when I first started, obviously I wasn't covering budgets yet, but I didn't know a single thing about budgets. I didn't know why. And now I realize it's one of the most important things. It's where people's money goes.
I think this week we have 3 education budgets votes on the front page, and we have something about a public hearing about a bond question, and we have it's all money on the front page, including South Bristol. Bless you, Hedgehog. South Bristol approved funds for the well filtration system at the school. So we were talking about closing loops of stories earlier. They just approved more funds for that, so yay.
Well, let's hope the loop is closed.
And so it's like, yeah, those are all things that's like, why are my taxes going up? Here are the 15 reasons why, and they're all on the front page this week.
And to a lot of people, you know, these kinds of stories sound, I don't know what other word to say, but boring. And I was one of those people before I started this job. But now I get it.
Which is important because ideally you want to write a story that's not boring.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Not only do you get it, you make it accessible, which is a skill.
I try.
Yes. Also, to throw back earlier when you were saying that we were some of your highlights, I think people's stories in general are really where you shine as well. Because I was thinking back to in preparation for this, because I did.
I'm glad one of us prepared.
You know, I was thinking through some of your best stories, and the first one that came to mind was the Twin Villages Food Bank Farm, when you did the character piece on Sarah and Megan. Yes. I had the brief panic of like, am I going to say the right name? And that you captured them both so well. It was one of my favorite things, and I've heard nothing but good things about it in the community, which made me very happy. But the other one I remember was you wrote a story about, well, it's technically a two-parter, a Bremen houseboat rental company in Bremen. And then you also wrote about a man renting camper vans in Bremen. And I believe it was after the one about the houseboats. You were on vacation, but had turned it in before you went. I was editing it on a Tuesday night, and I went into Molly's office. And I'm not going to say exactly what I said because there was some cursing involved. But it was essentially like, Piper killed this article, and it's so good, and I'm so mad she's not here.
Mine
so
was,
I
like,
can't
bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, it was so well written.
Thanks.
And yeah, so those are like 3 things that, you did that I really, really love.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I got into journalism. If you don't know me, I just really want to know stuff. I'm very nosy, very curious. And a lot of times when people ask me why I do this job or like why I like to do this job, it's because I get to meet people that otherwise I would not have met or known about if I wasn't doing this job. Plain and simple, honestly. And I really enjoy getting to know people because people are what make up the community.
Yeah.
Like it's all of these strings that come together. It's very cool.
So you're going to be integrating yourself into another community now in a similar capacity, but it will be a different community. And I'm wondering if there are any lessons that you learned from how you integrated yourself here at in Lincoln County at the Lincoln County News that you're going to bring to your new job, specifically about acclimating yourself to a new community.
Dude, excellent question. Sorry, but like that was just...
I know, and his face got so serious.
If I'm not talking, I'm thinking.
I'm going to do... It's funny, because I've, thought this to myself. I'm going to do what Maya had me do when I first started here. I'm going to go on a little welcome parade. And introduce myself to everybody that I could possibly need to know. Town manager, police chief, fire chief, all those people. That's where I'll start. And then I'll just make myself incredibly well known.
Yes.
There will be no question. They'll be like, oh, that's the reporter. Because I got to a point a little while ago where anywhere I showed up, that's the reporter.
I still remember the one meeting I had to cover for you in Nobleboro. I walked in, and granted, at this point, I'd been living here for 9 years and had never had to go to a Nobleboro Select Board meeting. But the look they all, like, the Select Board and, like, a couple other people, like, all looked at me as I came in and, like, watched me as I sat down, and they were like, so who are you? And I was like, oh, I'm Maia Zewert. I work with Piper at the Lincoln County News, and they immediately went, where is Piper? Like, as if.
What have you done with her?
What have you done to her?
That was, and I was like, I approved her PTO request. She'll be back next
guys,
week.
I was in Disney World.
But it illustrates, like, that's how
That was so funny.
I thought it was funny. I was like, I promise she's doing good.
But no, like, especially lately when I call people to, like, set up interviews in towns that I don't normally cover, even then they're like, oh, I've read all your stories in the paper. I know your name. It's so nice to put a face to a name. It's cool. I feel famous.
You are?
So I'm going to make myself famous down there.
It'll happen quickly because it's one town.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
15,000 people.
In that one town? Mm-hmm. Good God.
Welcome to Massachusetts.
I can't even remember the last time I counted to 15.
So, yeah. I'm just going to make myself really well known.
I like it. Famous, not infamous. Big
Facts.
Difference. Yes.
Facts. I'm not going to get canceled or anything, I
Oh,
promise.
Piper. I knocked on wood.
Well done.
I'm not.
That's what they always say.
What could I possibly do?
I don't know.
You've met me.
It's hard to enter a new... okay, let's...
I would say the big thing is learning the pronunciation of the town and surrounding towns.
Oh, it's an easy town.
Because
This is the kind of attitude that'll get you canceled in Massachusetts.
No, this isn't like the Edgecombe thing.
It's reading.
This isn't like the Edgecombe thing, guys. It's not.
The what?
I'm not gonna say it again.
What is
Now
it?
I'm scared.
The what?
there was a period of time,
I'm sorry.
including earlier on this podcast, not this episode, but early episodes where Piper had a slight minor mispronunciation of Edgecombe. Minor. It was very minor. You wouldn't know to look for it unless you know how to pronounce the word
I'm sorry.
Edgecombe.
It wasn't a town that I covered. I never had to say it out loud. Now Jonathan's looking at me, and I'm never saying it again.
Well, I don't think you have to, so.
We ran her out of town. Took a while, but...
That was it.
I'm embarrassed.
No.
Have you already said what story you're most proud of that you've written for the LCN? Mm-mm. Do you have an answer?
I don't know.
You've written a lot of them.
I've written a lot of them. I wonder how many.
I know. I wish I had counted.
I don't know.
But one could go into our archives and find out. LCNME.com.
I think the last time I looked myself up to find a story, it was at least 26 pages of stories.
So there's about 15 per page, so hold on a second.
There is?
Yep, on our website.
Molly's doing math.
That's 390.
It's got to be more. It's got to be more, Piper.
That's a lot of stories.
It's a lot of stories.
It's been a year and a half.
I think
it could be 468. I can't remember if there's 15 or 18. Does 468 sound better?
468 does sound better, but we should find the answer and then just announce it on next week's episode. Just totally random. For those of you who are listening, the answer is...
Story I'm most
So
proud
you've
of.
been here for 18 months.
God, I don't even know. There have been so many stories about so many different things. I can't even remember all of them. That's
do you
the horrible
have
thing.
a favorite type of story, like event coverage, new business, select board, planning board, budget committee, budget, school committee, education, etc.?
I have learned to quite enjoy budget articles, actually.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Other than that, I really like to write about people's businesses because a lot of the time it literally just reflects who they are on the inside. And it's very cool to learn how they got to where they are, hence the Bremen houseboat and camper vans thing. That's why I enjoyed those so much, because they had such interesting stories that led them up to where they are in Bremen. In Bremen, of all places.
Yeah, a lot of places to sleep in Bremen. No, tons. See, that's a good lead.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
You learned.
The number of places you can sleep in Bremen has increased.
I'd read that.
We've got the what, the where. I don't know about the
why.
rest.
Why?
Everybody's sleepy in Bremen. Dreaming in Bremen. There we go.
Oh, that's good. Somebody's got to use that for something.
And you did the character piece about Miss Nancy.
Nancy Diedrich.
That was very special.
Yeah.
She's the cookie lady?
Yes.
She's the cookie lady.
Hell yeah. Nancy, if you're listening, thank you.
My mom's future neighbor. Or I guess my mom's current neighbor, but my mom doesn't live in the house yet, so.
Which brings up a good point. This is goodbye, but you have reassured us.
My family's still here.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mom's going to be moving into her house in Newcastle pretty soon. And my brother is still a child, so.
And don't you have something coming up here soon? Not in Lincoln County, but in Rockland? That may already be on my calendar, but you should tell the listeners about.
Yeah, my boyfriend and I made a film. And it's going to be premiering at the Strand in Rockland on July 5th. So I'll be back.
Yes, you will.
And what's the dress code?
Molly really wants it to be black tie.
Heck yes. Totally in favor.
However, I don't know.
Heather says no, so the directors have established.
I didn't say no. I said you can wear whatever you want. I'm just not sure I'm going to make the whole thing black tie for everybody.
Look, all I know is I'm going to be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
I have a question. Can I ask a question?
You can absolutely ask a question. Well, I mean,
Jury's still out over there. Anyway. I know Molly just asked what story I'm most proud of, but I don't know. I would want to ask you what you think. I don't know. What do you think some of my best things have been?
I'm pausing to think about articles I haven't mentioned yet, because there was The saga, I call it saga just because there's been multiple stories within this, but the Nobleboro Fire Chief, that was one, I think the first article, we all had to each chip in using different parts of that. The OSHA rules proposal and talking to the fire chiefs about how this would impact them, really raising awareness of that.
Okay, that's what I'm most proud of. There.
But I'm also going to say Sarah and Megan's characters of the county piece again, because that was one in reading it. You did apologize to me for it before you left. You were like, is very long. I was like, how long is it? And I looked and it was like, is very long. But, it was a case of you used each word well. And so I don't think I cut a lot, if any. Yeah. And it was just a well-told love story to round out our Couples of the County feature in February. So those are the three that, in thinking back over your time, I'm like, yeah. But also the Bremen one that I had to go into the reporter's room and, yell to Molly how good it was.
I'll never forget. I think it was a Tuesday night.
It was a Tuesday night. We were both here unreasonably late. And by that, I mean it was 6:30. And I was like, Molly, your coworker, your roommate, she turned in this amazing article. I'm so mad. I can't yell at her because she's on vacation. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to South Carolina. That's funny. I think if I had to think about, it's hard for me to pick favorites of things. I say this a lot when people are like, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite color? There are just too many things.
Yes.
And I can't choose. But I think if I had to choose some highlights of my time here from the beginning, one of the first big things I covered was the possible Delta ambulance move to Whitefield.
Yes.
And that was a huge deal. That resulted in at least 4 or 5 articles. And then also in Whitefield, the Holistic Sober Center. Mm-hmm. That had been going on before I even started. And then the unfortunate thing about the principal being removed in Wiscasset, that was a 2-night hearing that totaled 12 hours. I was there till midnight both nights. Again, living in Rockland.
Very long.
I don't think I ever told you, but I turned up my music so loud and sang to make sure I got all the way home. To make sure I wouldn't fall asleep.
Yes.
What were you singing?
Don't ask me that.
Oh.
I see, we found a boundary here.
I don't even remember. It was probably Taylor Swift, to be totally honest with you. Because I wanted to make sure it was songs that I knew all the words to so that I would keep singing. Gosh. I don't know. And then a lot of it's kind of a blur, sadly.
I think after you wrap your time here, you'll have some time to reflect and be like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Go back.
I wrote about that.
And then one of the things that made me feel confident in my interviewing abilities was when I was doing the candidate profiles for our state reps this last November. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that made me incredibly confident about covering sort of forum type meetings was covering the candidate forums.
You were a rock star at that as well.
Yeah. I'm very good at things that seem like an equation. Because once I'm like, okay,
plug and
that
play.
Goes there, that goes there, that goes there, and we did it. So, yeah.
So eventually there will be new reporters here eventually. And Piper, you will maybe not be here when that happens. What sort of advice do you have for people starting out in Lincoln County as reporters?
It's okay to be scared
of Lincoln County.
Yeah.
Never lose that.
Never lose that. No.
Always be scared.
Always be scared. You have things to be afraid of. No.
Constantly move through fear.
It's okay to be scared of the job. It's a big job to do. It's okay to be anxious about how people will perceive you. But no matter what, people are going to welcome you and you will get the hang of it. Because there's a whole team here that's been doing this, knows how to do this, and is going to help you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Don't be afraid.
That's all. That's a good, because
I was
lasting
scared,
legacy.
I was scared even to just walk in here because you guys and Elizabeth had been there. I know Molly had only been there a week, but you guys were like there and I was the last one in. And I was afraid. And I was also the youngest. So I was like, oh my God, they're going to hate me.
And they didn't. And we
Thank
don't.
God.
Let that be a lesson also.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Piper, I'll save more emotional things to tell you later and in cards and notes and things.
Okay.
But for now, I will just say I'm really going to miss you. I'm going to miss, having another reporter, but I'm specifically going to miss you and your personality and what you bring to the office and just you as a, presence.
Yeah. I'm going to miss you guys too.
Yeah.
And I'm going to miss covering Lincoln County.
Yes.
And I'm going to miss Hedgehog.
Yes.
Yes. I really appreciated you being in the office throughout my time here, pretty much. Don't remember the week before you got here at all. But
the week was a blur.
Yeah, you're always very on top of things, like I said, which is a great feature to have in a coworker because it gives me something to aspire toward. And you're always energetic and you're very get the job done type coworker, and that's been great. But then also just as a friend, I'm so glad that I got to meet you. And I'm sure we'll still be friends, and I'll be at your black tie movie premiere, so
Jeez.
it's cool. I'll see you soon.
I don't just leave and forget about people, especially you guys.
Time will tell.
No, like I said.
Time will tell.
Shut up. Like I said at the beginning, I've never had friendships like these. Mm-hmm. And I'm not letting that go that easily.
Very few people in the world will have an experience like this of our generation. So it's a very special thing. And we're so lucky that the group of personalities we had in this space when we were here together was what it was.
Yeah. It's been an experience of a lifetime. Seriously.
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah. And we're gonna miss you.
Yeah.
But when you come back, and I say when, because you will be back. This isn't goodbye forever. We'll have you back and you can tell us all about what you're doing.
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right. But in the meantime, we love you. We'll miss you. And we'll talk to you off mic more.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye, Pipe Dog. Thank you for listening to Beyond the Broadsheet, a podcast by the Lincoln County News. Production support is provided by Tyler Davis of Tyality Productions. Theme music by Stu Mahan and Sherwood Olin.
Have a question or a suggestion? Email us at info@lcnme.com. And if you haven't already, please be sure to rate and subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen.
This has been a Lincoln County Publishing Company production.